Consciousness has always existed and will always exist. Consciousness is all that there is. Everything arises in consciousness. Consciousness is the sourceless source from which all phenomena and potential arise from, inherit and return to. Consciousness is the only reality that is, and therefore the only reality without beginning or end. Thus, any phenomena projected within consciousness can neither be completely real nor endless. Phenomena, therefore, has a dual nature, a manifest nature and an unmanifest nature, and all phenomena are subject to the process of creation and dissolution as a prerequisite for manifestation. However, since the nature of consciousness is without beginning or end, the recurrence of phenomena must be as well. Therefore, phenomena can neither be said to be completely real, nor can it be said to be unreal, since it arises in consciousness inevitably as a consequence of the boundless nature of consciousness. Truly, everything can be said to be real and not real simultaneously from the perspective of consciousness. Manifestation is always a process which produces phenomena which can only partially reveal reality. Thus, any and all phenomena cannot ever be reality, and all phenomena necessarily fail to be equivalent to reality. Nonetheless, all phenomena can be said to have some degree of reality. Thus, the topology of the manifestation of phenomena can be said to have dual dimensionality. Due to the nature of consciousness as a self-existing, self-radiant, expansive, boundless being awareness, all phenomena contains a pre-existing bias towards recognizing and reuniting the nature from which it arose. Since all manifestation must be composed of components made of consciousness, all emergent phenomena will naturally, and via every emergent process, in simple or complex behavior, will seek to contain consciousness in such a way that it may recognize itself and its inherent position as consciousness. In other words, all manifested phenomena are naturally biased to create living systems which naturally evolve towards perceptual vehicles which are capable of recognizing their own nature as consciousness. These perceptual vehicles then provide endless opportunities for consciousness to observe itself. This natural process is without beginning or apparent end, and generates an endless number of individuated perceptual vehicles and thus an endless number of perspectives. However, because everything arises in consciousness and is therefore only consciousness, each perceptual vehicle always exists only in a reality which has been generated specifically for them. This means that any and all manifestation must have a fundamentally multidimensional nature, since reality must accommodate the perspective and heart purpose of each perceiver. This also means that manifested reality must ultimately provide the perceptual vehicle with the demands their perspective requires. This is why the exact properties of any particle cannot be determined with absolute precision. Doing so would fundamentally constrain the potential choices presented to another perceptual vehicle entangled to the particle. This also means that each perceptual vehicle is completely free to choose whatever destiny they wish, and that consciousness, through the perspective of the perceptual vehicle, can freely choose to continue as individuated perception once it realizes the nature from which it arose, or choose to return to the unindividuated consciousness from which it arose. Due to the naturally self-transcendent bias of consciousness, complex systems exist within phenomena which naturally act to accelerate the recognition of embedded perceptual vehicles towards their nature as consciousness. One such natural emergent system is the existence of entities, which are naturally compelled to accelerate the evolution and perceptual capabilities of other perceptual vehicles, which come into being within observation of the former. When applied to the specific circumstance of humanity in the Milky Way galaxy at this time, it becomes clear that humanity is more likely than not a species which has evolved to its current level of sentience and intelligence on its own. Rather, humanity is a vehicle which has been co-created by the cosmic trinity, which creates new transcendently capable species, a transcendently capable progenitor species, a suitable receptor species, with a mature living planet. This transformational task is performed through the principle of direct sympathetic resonance, transference of perceptual matrices, as well as the modification of the DNA of a receptive species, which exists in a sufficiently mature biosphere. In other words, life ultimately evolves to create new life via transmitting its essence to the evolving DNA of a new species through direct DNA manipulation and through selective incarnation into and perceptual development of the mind of the species. Eventually, the new species evolves far enough themselves and makes its own evolutionary leap, one which really only has one viable choice. Recognize and accept your condition and circumstance as a species always and already united in and as consciousness. This evolutionary choice requires the cessation of outdated modes of violence dominance response present in the species as a natural result of its organismic past. Any alternative results in the inevitable self-destruction of the species.